Hi, it's Erica, and today we're going to practice Anapana breathing. Anapana breathing is the foundation for mindfulness. It's the foundation for most Vipassana meditations. What I mean by Anapana breathing is that we are going to simply follow our breath. So we're going to notice and observe our breath on the inhale, and we're going to notice and observe our breath on the exhale. Notice how I'm not saying anything about fixing it or changing it or breathing in a certain way. We're really going to start honing our observational skills with this practice of noticing what's happening in this present moment. That's the part of this practice that you're going to be able to take out into the world. So how we're going to do this is we are going to continually notice when we've been distracted. Our brains love to be distracted because they're designed to think, to connect with other people, to look around our environment, to do so many different things. And our bodies are designed to move. It's really difficult sometimes to actually sit still. The sitting still in this practice helps us focus on the breath, helps us to connect with what's happening right here, right now. In order to help the brain to minimize as many distractions as we can, we are going to close our eyes. We are going to notice when we are distracted by thoughts. We love to think about things that have happened in the past and think about our plans for the future, even if it's just what am I going to have for dinner tonight. Those kinds of things will happen. Those kinds of things are totally okay. Those kinds of things are actually the point of the practice. Remember, this is called a practice. So what we are practicing is actually noticing when we get pulled away and distracted and returning to the breath, returning to the present moment. This is a skill that will help so many of us in so many ways. Anytime that we're feeling super stressed in a situation, anytime we're having difficulty in a situation, anytime we're actually maybe in bliss and joy, and we all know how fleeting those moments are, this practice can help us be in those moments more fully, more present. And so then we're going to be able to respond in those moments rather than reacting. Okay, so this is a really important practice. I want to dispel a myth right off the bat before we start, which is that the point really isn't to sit here silently and not have any thoughts. More people say that to me, that I can't meditate, I'm a bad meditator, I just keep thinking about things. That's not the point of this meditation, to have no thoughts, to empty your mind, as I've heard so many people say. The point actually is to sit with ourselves, notice when we get distracted, and then come back to the breath. So if you are distracted by your thoughts, you're doing it perfectly. Once you notice you're distracted by your thoughts, return to the breath. Come back to yourself. That's the practice we're focusing on. All right? So it's super simple in theory. It's really easy for me to teach this to you, but I want you to also remember that monks who have been meditating for most of their lives are still practicing Anapana breathing. Again, because our brains and our bodies are designed to do other things. This is a practice so that we can learn how to stay in the present moment. All right? What I'm going to ask you to do is to sit comfortably, but I want you to sit upright. So if you are in a chair or if you're on the couch, don't use the backrest. Let's not lean back. Let's use our own musculature of our body to sit upright, our shoulders over our hips. I'm sitting on a cushion on the floor. It's not necessary, but for me, this is the most comfortable way to actually get into my practice. Because I have a really hard floor, I also have a mat, a pad here for underneath my feet, which is going to help for sitting for, 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time. So I want you to find a place where you can get comfortable. Again, if you're in a chair, that's totally fine. If you need to sit back, if you have back problems, or if you're in a lot of pain and discomfort, go ahead and do that. But we really want to focus on using our own musculature in our body when possible. If you're in a chair, have feet flat on the floor. Okay, our hands can be anywhere on our lap. There are many different ideas and different ways to hold your hands. Right now, I don't want us to worry about that too much. You can keep your hands on your lap. I find it comfortable to keep my hands right here in my lap. So this is how I'm going to sit while we're practicing together today. We're going to close our eyes to help ourselves stay clear of visual distractions. But again, if you hear noises, if you have physical sensations that start happening in the body, it's all right to notice them. Realize that you're noticing them and that you're thinking about them. And then I'm going to guide you for the first part of our time together to come back to the breath. And we're going to keep coming back to the breath. All right? So when you're ready, get comfortable and gently close your eyes. First, just settle into yourself. Just feel what it's like to sit here, what it's like to be here right now. Start noticing the sounds that are around you in your environment. And then start to bring your attention to your breath. Again, don't fix it or change it. Just notice it. Sometimes one of the first things that we notice is that by putting our attention on the breath, it starts to deepen a little bit. Other times we put attention on our breath and it can tighten. Either way, all we're doing right here is noticing and observing. It helps to pay attention to how the air feels coming in and coming out of the nostrils. We want to use our nose for breathing in this practice, because breathing through our nose helps the body to relax. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out. Notice how the air feels cooler on the inhale around the edges of your nostrils and warmer on the exhale. Sometimes it's helpful to place our attention on the upper lip, right where it meets the bottom part of your nose. You can start to feel the air coming in and going out. If we're having thoughts, we remember to stay vigilant and returning to the breath. When we're noticing sounds in our environment, we gently come back to the breath. We have sensations in our bodies, noticing what it's like to sit here, and we come back to the breath. And come back to the breath. Now we're going to sit for a couple of minutes without any instruction so that you can practice returning to your own breath. Now, keeping your eyes closed, bring your awareness to your body. Let go of the breath. You can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Sometimes it's nice to sway a little bit wherever you're sitting. Feel yourself back in your body. And when you're ready, keep your gaze low and gently open your eyes. And come back into the room. So that was Anapana breathing. I gave you guys a couple of minutes to feel on your own without me saying anything or reminding you how it was for you today to notice yourself getting distracted and returning to the breath. The return is really the important part of this practice. Remembering to come back to the breath. I think this is so helpful in our daily lives to remember throughout the day to come back to the present moment, to really engage with whoever we're speaking to in whatever we're doing, to be here now. I've practiced this with young children. I've practiced this with teenagers. I've practiced this with, of course, adults, older adults. This is a practice that anyone really can do, as long as, again, we get rid of those myths that, there are such things as bad meditators and that we're supposed to sit here and not think anything. Once people start to realize, and I hope that I have communicated to you, that the practice is about noticing when we're pulled away from ourselves and coming back, that really is something that anyone can do. So again, I want you guys to practice this on your own so that you can go out in the world and be as present as possible. You can practice for 5-10 minutes twice a day is fantastic. If that 10 minutes seems really difficult for you, start with 5, work your way up little by little to at least 10 minutes a day, twice a day, practicing in the morning before you eat or have any coffee, and practicing again in the evening before any evening meals. This will really help you throughout the day stay present with yourself and with others. Thank you so much for letting me practice with you today. You can practice with this video as many times as you like, and then bring it out into the world. Let me know how it goes for you. Take care.